Okay, I wanted to take a little minute and talk 12-volt fridges. A lot of you that have watched my channel for a while know I used to use the CF-18 Dometic 12-volt fridge. It was a great little fridge. I recommended it to a lot of people, and I know a lot of people ended up using them themselves and are still using them, and they're working out great. Unfortunately, 2 summers ago, mine started acting up. What was happening was that it just wasn't shutting off. You set it to a certain point with the dial, and it's supposed to shut off and maintain a certain temperature, and mine would just keep running, basically freezing everything in there. And if I were to let it to continue to run like that, it probably would overheat and burn out the compressor. So I immediately shut it off, let it sit, and I have since opened it up to inspect the circuit board, and I can't see anything visually that would be wrong with it. And then when I went to test it further, it would do the same thing, and then sometimes just not turn at all and give me the flashing orange light, which means error, something's wrong. I'd unplug it, turn it on again, and the compressor would start and do the same thing, just keep running. So it's been sitting for about a year, so I'm going to plug it in and see what it's doing now. I doubt anything has changed, but maybe for some freak reason it's going to work normally. I've contacted Dometic, and unfortunately parts for this fridge are obsolete through Dometic, which is a bummer. I really wanted to order a new PCB board and replace it, and I'm sure that would have fixed it, but those parts are obsolete, and they had really nothing further to say other than buy a new fridge. I'll show it a little closer, the model, so you can see and know to try to avoid it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to anyone that I recommended this fridge to. I wasn't aware that parts have since become obsolete. So again, I'm going to plug it in and see what it's doing now, but that is kind of where it stands. So let's check it out, see what it does. So there, I think I've got a few things stored in it, maybe just the manuals and that. Yeah, it's just got the manual in there, but it was a nice little fridge. It has this lower section here and this little shelf. That's where the compressor is under there. So overall, it's a smaller fridge, but it really served my needs fine, and has a very simple controls on it. Here, again, this is the Cool Freeze CF-18. See if I can block that glare a little bit so you can see the label better. It's a very simple, it's got a high-low for it shutting off automatically if your battery, it's a battery monitor, so I always ran it in the high, I believe. I've tried it on both settings, and this is your adjustment knob. Usually right around here, about 11 o'clock, was a good refrigerator temperature, and then if you wanted it to freeze, you had to crank it up to about 3 o'clock or more. And again, it would automatically shut off when it reaches its temperature and then click back on like a normal fridge to maintain that temperature. But again, it's just wanting to stay on. So I'm going to plug it in and see what it does here. Okay, so I have it plugged in. I'm going to go ahead and switch it on, turn this all the way down, and see what it does. It looks like this time it's not giving me... Oh, there it goes. That's how it normally would do. When you turn it on, it takes a second, and the compressor just kicked in. That's what the green light means. And then when the compressor shuts off, it turns orange. And I can hear the compressor running. It's actually very quiet. That's one of the things I really liked about this fridge. So I've got it on its lowest setting, so I'm just going to let it sit for a while and run. There's plenty of sun out on my solar panels, so I don't have to worry about power. I'm basically running 2 fridges at this point, but I'm going to see if it shuts off. At the lowest setting, I think it usually shuts off around 54 degrees or so it shouldn't take too long to get down to temp if it's working properly, but I'm assuming it still has the same problem. I don't know why anything would change. I did open it up and kind of blow off and inspect the PCB board. It's just a little small, circuit board behind this control panel here. I did clean off all the compressor really good, all of the little, the little fins that are right here behind this vent. It was a little dirty, so I cleaned it up real good. And I don't know if I'm pretty sure I've tried it since I cleaned it, but like I said, it's been sitting for about a year, so we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Okay, well, good news. It actually shut off as it should. It ran for about 10, maybe 15 minutes, and the light turns orange when the compressor shut off, which means it's in its idle state because it reached its temperature, and when it warms up again, it'll hopefully click back on. You can hear the compressor is not running. So as it sits, it seems like it's working as it should. Still concerning because it did act up on me before. Yeah, I don't know what to think at this point. Maybe it's going to work. Okay, what I decided to do, rather than wait for it to go ahead and click on again, I could trigger it by, because it's on its lowest setting. I'm going to turn it up. We'll see if it kicks on. It should. Yep, right about there. Light turns green. Compressor is running. So to test it, we will see when it reaches the temperature it should be at here, which is about where I used to run it. That kept it right around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so a little update on the fridge. I had it running for about 3 hours, and it does not seem to be shutting off again like it was doing before. Turned it all the way down. I had it up at about here, and I noticed it was running for quite a while, so I turned it down to see, and it is stuck running on again. That is the issue. Okay, I also wanted to announce a meetup I'm going to be doing here in San Diego, California. It's going to be on December 1st, this coming Sunday. I apologize for the short notice, but anyone that's in San Diego that wants to stop by and say hi, again, that will be December 1st, Sunday, December 1st, from about 9:30 a.m. to about 5 p.m. I'll be on the island most of the day. You are welcome to stop by for as little or as long as you want. Check out my van, ask any questions you have about van life, or just want to say hey. I welcome you, and it would be great to meet any of you that have been watching the videos for a while. It's always a pleasure to meet you guys. You've been such strong, positive support for me on this adventure. So I will leave the GPS coordinates in the video description for this meetup. Again, that's Fiesta Island in Mission Bay Park. I will be on the west side. If you take the outer loop, just keep an eye out for my van and use those GPS coordinates. You should be able to find me just fine. So again, I welcome you, and it'd be great to meet any of you that want to stop by and say hey. Well, it looks like this fridge is having the same problem that I initially had. It was running fine for a few hours, cycling on and off as it should, and then eventually just got stuck running in the on position and not cycling off, which is a problem that renders the fridge pretty much useless. It would just freeze everything in the fridge and eventually burn up the compressor. So yes, it is obsolete as far as parts. Dometic has discontinued this fridge. I just wanted to get this information out there as far as the parts being obsolete, because I do know that there are some online RV warehouse retailers that have new old stock of these fridges left still and are still selling them, and I would recommend not going with this model due to the fact that they have been discontinued and there are no longer any parts available for repairs on this fridge. So I am looking into some other fridges as far as options. I went with the Cosway to replace this one, and I've had it for about a year and it's been working good. I did do a review video on it, and I'm also networking with some other companies. I'm going to try to get another video up in the next few weeks talking about other 12-volt fridge options. So as it sits with this fridge, I don't know what to do with it. It's pretty much tough to get rid of a fridge. You have to take it to a recycle place and usually pay a fee because it's got Freon in it. So it's considered like hazardous waste trash at that point. And because the compressor runs fine, the problem is that it just doesn't shut off. I feel like somebody with some knowledge out there may be able to modify this in some way to make it cycle on and off. I know there's some aftermarket electronic thermostats that maybe you could put in line. I'm just not that savvy with electronics and refrigeration, so I'm wondering if anyone out there, if you have that knowledge or would be interested in trying to take on this as a project. The problem is this would be expensive to ship, so you would have to be local to the San Diego area, or I would be willing to haul it out to Quartzsite this January. If there's any of you that are going out to Quartzsite for the big RV Traveler meetup, I could bring this and you could take it on as a project. So if you're interested, go ahead and email me. That's AdventureVanLife@gmail. My email is in the video description, and yeah, we can go from there. But I just hate to just get rid of it and trash it because there may be some potential with the fridge left still. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I hope this information was helpful for anyone interested in 12-volt fridges or that has this model fridge. Otherwise, I hope you're doing good out there, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Take care. Peace.